Let's jump into a topic that I think pretty much every climber obsesses over at some point,
Absolutely.
and that is shoes. But specifically, we are going to take a deep dive and try to answer this question.
Hmm.
Do you really need to shell out a
Yeah.
bunch of money
Right.
for La Sportiva Miuras?
The class.
Or are there some hidden gems out there that can deliver the goods
Yeah.
without completely emptying your wallet?
That's the question everyone wants to know, right?
Yeah, and our source material today is an article
Uh-huh.
that boldly claims 7 affordable climbing shoes as good as La Sportiva Miuras.
Ooh. Okay.
Now, I'm skeptical,
Yeah.
but I'm also intrigued.
I'm always intrigued.
So before we get into breaking down all these contenders, let's just quickly establish why the Miura is considered the gold standard for so many climbers.
Right. Yeah. So you think about those really technical climbs,
Yeah.
especially overhangs. The Miura's aggressive downturn shape just gives you unreal precision on those tiny little holds.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It's incredible. And then, of course, there's the Vibram XS Edge Rubber.
It's legendary.
Legendary. Super sticky, super durable.
Yeah.
Not many rubbers out there can match it.
You know, I've heard edging power and durability are top-notch,
For sure.
but I've also heard that
Okay.
Miuras can be pretty unforgiving, especially if you are climbing for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
Is that a fair assessment?
Definitely. Yeah, that aggressive fit is amazing for those short bursts
Yeah.
of intense climbing. But for those longer sessions, multi-pitch climbs, comfort really becomes crucial.
Yeah.
And that's actually where things get really interesting because some of these more budget-friendly options really prioritize comfort
Yeah.
without sacrificing too much in the performance department.
No, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So if we're looking for Miura-level performance on a budget, what are the things that we should be paying attention to?
Well, first I would say, think about edging performance. You need a shoe that can really handle those small holds. So look for things like a stiff midsole and a durable rubber outsole.
Okay.
And this is key, comfort can't be an afterthought.
Right.
A shoe that fits well and allows you to climb for longer is going to lead to, I think, better overall performance.
It's so true. It's so easy to get caught up in the specs.
Yeah.
But, like, if your feet are screaming,
Yeah.
you're not going to...
You can't climb if your feet hurt. Yeah.
All right. So with that in mind, let's introduce our lineup of contenders.
All right.
The article gives us 7 shoes.
Okay.
So we'll break them down one by one.
Sounds good. Let's see if these live up to the hype.
All right. Kicking things off, we have the SCARPA Origin.
Yeah. The order.
It's often recommended for beginners, but what makes them stand out from the crowd?
Well, the Origin is all about comfort and durability.
Okay.
It's got a much flatter design than the Miura,
Okay.
which translates to a more relaxed fit.
Mm-hmm.
So it's perfect for, those longer gym sessions or all-day adventures at the crag.
And they use SCARPA's Vision Rubber, right? How does that compare to the
Yeah.
Miura's
Oh, it is.
legendary Vibram XS Edge?
Vision Rubber is really known more for its durability than its stickiness.
Okay.
So you might sacrifice a little bit of grip
Yeah.
on those super technical moves,
Yeah.
but in return,
Okay.
you're going to get a shoe that's going to last a lot longer.
Interesting trade-off.
Yeah.
Durability is definitely a big factor,
For sure.
especially when you're trying to save some money.
Absolutely.
All right. Next up, we have a shoe
Okay.
that is designed with a specific climber in mind, and that is the EVOLV Ashima.
The Ashima.
It's marketed towards women,
Yeah.
but what makes it unique
Right.
beyond that?
Yeah. So 2 things really stand out to me.
Okay.
Comfort and breathability.
Okay.
The Ashima uses this perforated synthetic upper that allows for some great airflow,
Yeah.
which is a lifesaver
Yeah.
when your feet are sweating.
It can get toasty in there.
Oh, yeah, especially on those hard climbs. And then there's the rubber
Yeah.
4.2 millimeter RAX SAS.
So we're not talking about Vibram XS Edge here.
We are not.
What are the implications of that? Is it a significant downgrade in performance?
It's not necessarily a downgrade. It's more
Yeah.
of a different approach.
Okay.
The Trianic SAS is a little bit softer
Okay.
than the XS Edge, which actually means you get more sensitivity
Mm-hmm.
and a better feel for the rock.
Interesting.
It might not be ideal for edging on those super small holds,
Okay.
but for smearing on slabs or feeling those really subtle changes in the rock texture,
Yeah.
it can be a real advantage.
So I've always wondered about softer rubbers and
Right.
how they affect performance, and it almost seems counterintuitive, but you're saying that in some situations
Yeah.
that extra sensitivity can actually be a benefit?
Absolutely. Think about it this way.
Okay.
A softer rubber allows for greater surface area contact with the rock.
Mm-hmm.
So you're really maximizing your friction. So on those technical slab climbs where you don't have those defined edges,
Yeah,
that extra friction can make all the difference.
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I'm starting to see how shoe choice isn't just about mimicking the pros.
Right.
It's really about understanding your own personal climbing style.
Absolutely.
What works best for you.
That's a personal thing.
Okay, so we've got comfort and durability with the SCARPA Origin.
Yep.
Breathability and sensitivity with the EVOLV Ashima.
That's right.
What's next on our list?
Well, let's talk about the Black Diamond Momentum.
Okay.
These are another popular choice,
Yeah.
especially for beginners.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they strike a really nice balance between comfort and performance.
Okay, so not going all in on either extreme.
That's right.
What are the key features that allow them to do that?
Well, first off, they use a neutral flat last,
Okay.
similar to the SCARPA Origin.
Mm-hmm.
So this gives you, again, that more comfortable fit
Okay.
compared to the aggressive downturn of the Miura. But here's the thing, they don't skimp on the rubber.
Okay.
That 4.3 millimeter sole is pretty darn sticky.
Mm.
So you're not sacrificing too much in terms of performance.
Okay, so we're seeing a bitter trend here. Flatter lasts for comfort,
Yeah.
but they're still prioritizing a quality rubber for grip.
Right.
It seems like the days of needing a super aggressive shoe just to start climbing are over.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. And
Yeah.
honestly, for a lot of climbers, a flatter shoe is just a better option,
Okay.
at least initially, because it allows you to develop better footwork technique
Yeah.
and really build that strength in your feet.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised how many people jump into those aggressive shoes too early
Oh, yeah.
and end up just compensating with poor technique.
That's a great point. It's so easy to get caught up in the gear
Yeah,
when ultimately
Right.
good technique is what's going to make you a better climber.
absolutely. Yeah.
All right, let's move on to shoe number 4.
Okay.
The Mad Rock Rover.
A Rover.
What sets these apart?
Well, the Rover is kind of aiming to hit that sweet spot
Okay.
between comfort and performance,
Yeah.
but in a slightly different way.
Okay.
It uses a medium stiff midsole.
Okay.
So it's not as flat as the Origin or Momentum,
Yeah.
but not super aggressive either.
Okay.
And then there's the Mad Rock Science Friction 3.0 rubber.
Now, I've heard mixed things about Mad Rock Rubber.
Yeah.
Some people love it.
Right.
Some people say it wears out way too fast.
Mm-hmm.
What's your take?
You know, I think it depends on the specific rubber compound and also the type of climbing that you're doing.
Okay.
Science Friction 3.0 is actually known for being pretty durable and grippy.
Okay.
So it should hold up well on a variety of surfaces.
Yeah.
Plus, the Rover uses a material called Synflex in the upper,
Mm-hmm.
which also adds to the durability.
Okay. And what's Synflex all about?
So Synflex is a synthetic material that's both flexible and durable.
Okay.
So it allows the shoe to stretch and mold to your foot
Okay.
over time,
Mm-hmm.
but still resists that wear and tear.
Okay.
So you're getting that custom fit without sacrificing longevity.
So you're breaking in the shoe,
Yeah.
but it's not falling apart.
Exactly.
Okay.
That can be a big deal when you're trying to get the most out of your shoes.
For sure. All right. Should we move on to the next contender?
Let's do it.
All right. Shoe number 5 is the Climb X Rave Strap.
The Rave Strap.
What's the story with these?
So the Rave Strap is another option
Okay.
that's really geared towards those beginner and intermediate climbers.
Okay.
And they've really gone all in on comfort.
Yeah.
You've got a padded collar, padded heel. They're really designed to reduce pressure points
Yeah.
and make those long climbing sessions a little bit more enjoyable on the
Yeah.
feet.
I'm sensing a theme here. It seems like comfort is really becoming
Yeah.
a major selling point for a lot of these budget-friendly options.
For sure.
But what about performance?
Yeah.
Do they have the chops to handle more technical climbs?
Well, they actually do. The Rave Strap uses a polypropylene midsole,
Okay.
which is known for being pretty stiff.
Okay.
So it provides some good support
Okay.
and edging power.
Yeah.
So you're not going to be limited to just those easy routes.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm starting to see how shoe choice is way more nuanced
Right,
than just
right.
grabbing the most expensive or the most aggressive option.
It's not that simple.
Yeah, there are a lot of things to think about.
It's about finding the right tool for the job.
Right.
And that job is different for every climber.
Okay, we have 2 shoes left on our list.
All right.
This next one is intriguing.
Yeah.
The Bootora Acro.
The Acro, yeah.
I've heard these described as having a slipper-like fit.
It's a very unique shoe.
What does that even mean?
Yeah.
And who is this shoe for?
Well, that's a great question.
Yeah.
And it really gets to the heart of what makes the Acro so unique.
Okay.
So instead of focusing solely on comfort,
Oh,
like
yeah.
some of these previous shoes,
Mm-hmm.
The Acro is all about performance.
Yeah. And sensitivity.
Okay.
It's really built for those steep technical climbs.
Yeah.
Where you need to feel every little nuance of the rock.
Mm-hmm.
The slipper-like fit basically means the shoe hugs your foot really closely.
Okay.
Almost like a sock.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's not a lot of structure or support there.
Okay.
But that allows for just incredible precision and responsiveness.
So it's a very specific tool
It does.
for a very specific type of climbing.
Yes, definitely.
But wouldn't that lack of support be a problem for longer routes?
Well, you're right. It's not going to be the best choice for every climber
Yeah.
or every situation.
Yeah.
If you need a lot of ankle support or you're doing multi-pitch climbs, you're probably going to want something a little more substantial.
Okay.
But for bouldering, you know, those shorter, more technical routes where sensitivity and precision are key,
Yeah.
the Acro can be a game changer, especially if you have more narrow feet, which it tends to fit best. So not a one-size-fits-all solution, but for the right climber, it sounds like it could be amazing.
I think so, yeah.
Okay, so we've covered 6 of our 7 shoes, and I have to admit, I'm pretty impressed so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are some really interesting options out there that I never would have considered before.
That's cool.
And now for our final shoe, we've got, wait a minute.
Yeah.
This is the La Sportiva Miura.
You read that right.
I did.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the article actually includes the Miura
Okay.
as one of the affordable alternatives.
Okay.
I know it seems a little counterintuitive.
It does.
But compared to some of La Sportiva's other high-end models, it's actually relatively affordable.
I see what they're doing. It's all relative.
That's all relative.
Right. But I think since we are comparing all these shoes to the Miura anyway, it makes sense to include it in the conversation.
Yeah.
Plus, we wouldn't want to leave out the King.
The King stays on the list.
Right. It is a good reminder that price is just one factor to consider.
Absolutely.
The Miura might be more expensive than some of these other shoes, but it also offers a level of performance and durability that's pretty hard to beat.
For sure.
Well, on that note, I think it's time for a quick recap before we move on to part 2.
Right.
We've got 7 contenders, all vying for the title of Best Affordable Climbing Shoe.
Yeah.
And we've even thrown in a wild card. With the La Sportiva Miura itself,
Good one.
from comfort and durability to sensitivity and performance, we've covered a lot of ground.
We have.
And I'm already starting to rethink my whole approach to shoe selection.
Me too. It's amazing how much variety there is out there and how each shoe really caters to a specific type of climber and climbing style.
It's super interesting.
So stay tuned for part 2. We're going to dive even deeper into those nuances of each shoe and see how they stack up against the legendary Miura.
Can't wait.
Should be fun. Okay, so let's get back into comparing these Miura contenders.
Okay.
We've got a lot of ground to cover.
Yeah, I'm already feeling a little overwhelmed with options.
I bet.
In a good way, of course.
In a good way. That's the whole point of this deep dive, right? To open your eyes up to the world of climbing shoes.
Yeah, for sure.
So let's refocus and talk about the SCARPA origin a little bit more.
Okay.
We touched on the flat design and that durable rubber.
Yeah.
But I'm curious.
Yeah.
Have you ever climbed in a pair?
You know, I actually haven't.
Really?
I haven't.
Interesting.
I tend to gravitate towards shoes with a little bit more, I guess, oomph, like a little more aggressive.
I get it.
But I'm definitely intrigued by the idea of prioritizing comfort.
Yeah.
Especially as I get older and my feet aren't as forgiving as they used to be.
It's something to think about for sure. And that's the beauty of the origin, right?
Yeah.
It's not flashy. It's not aggressive.
Yeah.
It just works. That flat last just allows your foot to sit in a really natural position.
Okay.
Which can actually improve your footwork over time.
Interesting.
You're really forced to be more precise with your placements.
Okay.
Because you don't have that aggressive downturn to compensate.
That's an interesting perspective that I hadn't considered.
Yeah. Think of it like training wheels for your feet, you know?
Yeah. Okay.
It's forcing you to develop those good habits.
Yeah.
On the start.
Forcing you to think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I like
And because that vision rubber isn't the stickiest out there, you have to be more deliberate with your weight transfer and really trust your feet. So I think it's a great way to build confidence and really refine your technique.
I'm adding the SCARPA origin to my list of shoes to try.
I think you'll like them.
Okay, what about the EVOLV Ashima?
The Ashima, yeah.
We talked about its breathability and that sensitive rubber. Who do you think this shoe is perfect for?
You know, the Ashima just screams slab climber to me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so think about those long, technical slab routes where you're really relying more on friction and those subtle foot placements rather than powerful edging.
Okay.
That's where that sensitive Trike-AX SAS rubber really shines.
Okay.
You can feel every little bump and dimple in the rock.
Wow.
Which allows you to really trust your feet and make those delicate moves with confidence.
So it's not just about the women's specific sizing. It's really about a specific...
It's about a style of climbing, for sure.
Of climbing.
Yeah, of course, the women's specific fit is a huge bonus.
Right, yeah.
But even if you ignore that, the Ashima's design and features just make it a standout option for slab climbers.
Regardless of gender.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Moving on to shoe number 3, the Black Diamond Momentum.
Momentum.
We talked about its kind of balanced approach to comfort and performance.
Yeah.
What sets it apart from the Origin or the Ashima?
Well, if you're looking for just like a solid all-around workhorse,
okay,
I think the Momentum is a really great option.
Okay.
You know, it's comfortable enough for those long gym sessions, multi-pitch climbs, but it's also got enough performance to handle those more technical routes.
Okay.
It's not quite as specialized as the Ashima for slab climbing.
Yeah.
But if you want one shoe that can kind of do it all, I think it's a really good option.
So the jack of all trades, master of none.
Yeah, pretty much.
But in a good way.
In a good way, exactly.
Right.
Yeah, and that's why it's so popular, especially for beginners who are still, you know, figuring out what kind of climbing they really enjoy.
Totally.
You know, it allows you to explore those different styles without feeling like you're limited by your footwear.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, that brings us to the Mad Rock Rover.
The Rover.
We talked about the Science Fiction 3.0 rubber and the Synflex upper.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, how do you think it compares to the Miura in terms of performance?
Well, let's be honest. It's not going to match the Miura on those super technical climbs.
Right.
I mean, the Miura is just in a league of its own when it comes to aggressive performance.
Yeah.
But what's interesting about the Rover is it gives you kind of a taste of that performance at a fraction of the cost.
So it's like the gateway drug to high-performance shoes.
I like that.
Yeah.
You like that analogy?
Okay.
Yeah, it gives you a sense of what's possible without requiring you to, you know, fully commit to that.
Really commit, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm liking how we're categorizing these shoes.
Yeah.
We've got comfort-focused options.
Right.
We've got slab-specific.
Right.
We've got all-around workhorses. And now we've got the gateway to high performance.
Exactly.
So what about the Climb X Rave Strap?
Yeah.
Where does that fit in?
So the Rave Strap is really all about maximizing comfort.
Okay.
Especially for those climbers who are prone to foot pain.
Yeah.
Hot spots. You know, that padded collar and heel really makes a difference if you have sensitive feet.
Okay.
It's not going to win any awards for being the most aggressive, performance-oriented shoe.
Right.
But I think it's a really solid choice for beginners, intermediate climbers who are really prioritizing comfort over everything else.
So maybe not the best choice for really pushing your limits on super technical climbs.
Yeah, probably not.
But perfect for those long days at the gym or at the crag where you're just looking to enjoy the experience.
Exactly. Exactly. It's all about choosing the right tool for the job.
Sure.
And sometimes that job is just having fun and climbing without pain.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Now on to the Butora Acro.
The Acro.
Our resident high-performance sensitivity champion.
That's right.
We've talked about its slipper-like fit.
Yep.
But I'm still trying to wrap my head around who would benefit most from this type of shoe.
Think about those climbers who are just obsessed with precision and feeling every little detail of the rock.
Yeah.
You know, they want a shoe that disappears on their foot, allows them to just become one with the hold.
Yeah.
That's the Acro. It's not about power.
Okay.
Brute force.
Okay.
It's really about finesse and sensitivity.
So it's like the difference between a sledgehammer and a scalpel.
Ooh, I like that.
One is about brute force. The other is about precision and control.
Perfect analogy.
Yeah.
And just like a scalpel,
the
Acro requires a certain level of skill and experience to really use effectively. Definitely not a shoe for beginners.
Right.
But for those who have mastered those fundamentals and they're really looking to take their climbing to that next level, it can be an incredible tool.
That's fascinating. It seems like every shoe we've talked about so far has a very specific niche or purpose.
They all do.
What about the Miura?
Right.
We kind of threw it in there as a wild card.
Yeah.
But where does it fit into this whole spectrum?
You know, the Miura is interesting because it kind of transcends categories. It's definitely a high-performance shoe.
Yeah.
But it's also surprisingly comfortable.
Okay.
You know, it's aggressive, but it's also very versatile.
Okay.
It's expensive.
Yeah.
But it's also incredibly durable.
Okay. So is it the ultimate climbing shoe? The one shoe to rule them all?
You know, I wouldn't go that far.
Okay.
Remember, even the Miura isn't perfect for every climber or every type of climbing.
Okay.
But it's definitely a shoe that a lot of climbers aspire to own. And for good reason.
Yeah.
You know, it represents a certain level of excellence
Yeah.
and commitment to the sport.
Yeah, it's a benchmark.
It is.
It's a symbol of what's possible in climbing shoe design.
That's right.
Okay.
And that's why I think it's important to have this conversation, you know, to explore these alternatives.
Yeah.
And understand that there's a whole world of climbing shoes out there.
Totally. And we haven't even gotten to the La Sportiva Tarantulas yet.
Oh, yeah.
Which is our bonus shoe.
Our bonus shoe. The Tarantulas are a classic for a reason.
Yeah.
They're comfortable.
Okay.
They're versatile.
Yeah.
They're affordable.
Okay.
And they're surprisingly durable.
Yeah.
I mean, they're a great option for those beginners who are just starting out. But they can also hold their own on more technical climbs.
So maybe not as specialized as some of the other shoes we've discussed,
right,
but a solid all-arounder.
Yeah, exactly. A great choice for those climbers who are looking for that do-it-all shoe that won't break the bank.
Okay, so we've covered 7 shoes plus a bonus pick.
We have.
And we've kind of explored this wide range of features, benefits, and climbing styles.
Yeah.
What are your overall thoughts? What are some key takeaways for our listeners who are trying to figure out which shoe is right for them?
I think the biggest takeaway is that there's no one-size-fits-all answer.
Okay.
When it comes to climbing shoes.
Right.
It's all about understanding your individual needs and preferences.
Yeah.
So think about what type of climbing you enjoy most.
Okay.
What's your foot shape, your fit preference, how much are you willing to spend?
So it's not about finding the best shoe overall.
Right.
It's about finding the best shoe for you.
Exactly.
Which sounds so simple, but it's easy to get caught up.
It is. It is.
In the hype. And forget that climbing is really a personal journey.
That's right.
At the end of the day.
And I think this deep dive has proven
that
there are great climbing shoes out there.
Yeah.
At every price point.
Oh,
you don't have to shell out hundreds of dollars to get a shoe that performs well and helps you achieve your climbing goals.
That's good news for our wallets.
Good news for everyone. Yeah.
So what's the next step? How do we go from feeling overwhelmed with options to actually making a decision?
Yeah, I think the next step is research and experimentation.
Okay.
You know, read reviews, talk to other climbers, and if possible, try on a few different pairs before you make a decision. Yeah. And remember, it's okay to make mistakes.
Yeah, that's true.
Finding the perfect climbing shoe is a process.
Right.
And you might have to go through a couple pairs before you find the one that truly fits your needs.
And speaking of fit, I think that's a topic that deserves its own dedicated segment.
For sure.
I've danced around it a little bit.
Yeah, we have.
But let's really dive deep into the nuances of climbing shoe fit.
Okay, let's do it.
And why it's so important for performance and comfort.
Let's demystify the world of climbing shoe sizing.
Okay.
We'll talk about some common fit issues.
Yeah.
Offer some tips for getting that perfect snug, but not too painful fit.
Right.
Stay tuned for part 3 of our deep dive, where we unlock the secrets to a happy and high-performing climbing shoe experience.
Okay, so let's tackle a topic that can really make or break your climbing experience, and that is...
shoe fit.
Shoe fit.
Yes.
We've talked about features, performance. We've even compared some budget-friendly options to the La Sportiva Miura.
Right.
But honestly, none of that matters. If your shoes don't fit right.
They don't fit well, you're not going to have a good time.
Exactly. And I think this is where a lot of climbers, especially beginners, get tripped up.
Absolutely. It's the most important factor. And unfortunately, it's also the one where I see the most mistakes.
It's true. I remember when I bought my first pair of climbing shoes. I just went with my street shoe size, thinking it would be the same.
Nope.
Not even close. My feet were in agony after like the first climb.
That's a classic mistake.
Yeah.
Climbing shoes are designed to fit much more snugly than your street shoes. You want them to feel like a second skin.
Okay.
Almost like you're wearing gloves on your feet.
Right, but there's a fine line between snug and painful.
Yeah.
So how do we find that sweet spot? What are we looking for when we're trying on climbing shoes?
Okay, so first let's just dispel this myth.
Okay.
That climbing shoes are supposed to be painful.
Okay.
Yes, they should be snug.
Okay.
But they shouldn't be cutting off your circulation or causing numbness.
Okay.
A little bit of discomfort is normal.
Okay.
Especially when you're breaking them in.
Right.
But it should never be excruciating.
Okay, so how do we know if a shoe is too tight? Like, what are the warning signs?
Okay, the biggest red flag is any numbness or tingling in your toes.
Okay.
That means the shoe is restricting blood flow.
Got it.
Which is a big no-no.
Makes sense.
You also want to pay attention to how your toes are positioned inside the shoe.
Okay.
They should be slightly curled, but not like crammed together or overlapping.
Got it. Yeah.
And they shouldn't be, pressing up against the end of the shoe.
Okay, so snug, but not numb.
Not numb.
Slightly curled toes and no toe crushing.
No toe crushing.
Okay.
What about the heel?
Yes, the heel, because I've heard
heel fit is crucial.
That's another area where it can be tricky.
Yes, absolutely. The heel should fit really snugly against the back of your foot with minimal to no slippage.
Okay.
If your heel's lifting or sliding around, it's going to affect your performance, and it can even lead to blisters.
Yes, I've experienced the dreaded heel slippage.
It's not fun.
It's not fun at all.
No.
So how do we prevent that? How do we ensure a good heel fit?
So first, make sure you're choosing the right size shoe.
Okay.
Remember, climbing shoe sizing is different than street shoes.
It's a whole different world.
It is. So don't be afraid to go down a size.
Okay.
Or even 2.
Wow. Okay.
And don't just rely on the number on the box.
Okay.
Pay attention to how the shoe actually feels on your foot.
Okay.
That's what matters.
And that's why it's so important to try them on.
Yeah.
If you can.
If you can, definitely try them on.
What about those online shoppers out there? Any advice for getting a good fit if you can't try before you buy?
Definitely check the brand's sizing chart.
Okay.
Read reviews from other climbers.
Yeah.
And look for comments specifically about how the shoe fits.
Okay.
Does it run true to size? Does it tend to stretch, shrink over time?
Okay, good advice.
Yeah. And always buy from a retailer
that
has a good return policy.
Right.
Just in case.
Just in case.
They don't fit.
Right. Better safe than sorry.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I want to circle back to something you mentioned earlier about breaking in climbing shoes.
Ah, yes.
Is there a magic formula for making this process less painful?
I wish there was.
Right.
Unfortunately, there's no way to completely avoid the break-in period.
Okay.
Climbing shoes are made from these stiff materials.
Right.
And they need some time to mold to your feet.
Okay.
But there are things you can do to make the process a little easier.
Okay, like what?
First off, wear your shoes around the house.
Okay.
For short periods of time.
Okay.
Don't try to break them in on like a 5-hour climbing session.
Yeah, don't go crazy.
No. Start slow, gradually increase that wear time.
Okay.
And listen to your feet.
Okay.
If you start to feel any hot spots or pain, take the shoes off.
Give them a break?
Give your feet a break.
Okay, so patience is key.
Patience is key, yes.
What about some of these DIY methods?
Oh, DIY.
That I've heard about. Things like putting your shoes in the freezer.
Yeah, the freezer method.
Or using a hairdryer to stretch them.
I've heard of that one too.
Do any of those actually work?
I'd be cautious with those.
Okay.
Some people swear by them.
Yeah.
But there's also a risk of damaging the shoes.
Okay.
Personally, I prefer to let my shoes break in naturally.
Okay.
It takes a little bit longer.
Yeah.
But it's definitely gentler on the materials.
So it's like trying to force a friendship.
Exactly.
It's better to just let it happen.
Let it happen organically.
Organically, exactly. Okay.
And just like a good friendship, a well-fitting pair of climbing shoes can last for years.
Yeah, that's true.
If you take care of them.
Yeah, so we've covered the basics of climbing shoe fit, but I want to get a little more specific.
Okay.
We've talked about all these different types of climbing shoes, from comfort-focused to more aggressive high performance.
Absolutely.
Does fit vary depending on the type of shoe?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So a comfort-focused shoe, like the SCARPA Origin or the Black Diamond Momentum, is going to fit a little bit more relaxed than a more aggressive shoe.
Okay.
Like the Sportiva Miura or the Vittora Acro
So should we be sizing differently then?
It depends.
Okay.
If you're looking for that maximum sensitivity and performance, you're going to want to size that aggressive shoe.
Okay.
More snugly.
Okay.
Maybe even down a half size from your comfort shoe size.
Okay, interesting.
But for those comfort-focused shoes, you might be able to go with your street shoe size or even up a half size.
Okay, so there's a little bit of a learning curve here.
There is.
It's not just about finding...
It's not just about the number.
Your climbing shoe size. It's about understanding how these different shoes fit.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. It's about experimenting.
Right.
And finding what works best for you.
Okay.
There's no right or wrong answer.
It's all about personal preference.
Yeah.
And what feels most comfortable and allows you to climb your best.
I love that. And I think we have officially demystified the world of climbing shoe fit.
I hope so.
We've covered it all. Any final thoughts or words of wisdom for our listeners before we wrap up this deep dive?
You know, I think climbing shoe fit is really a journey, not a destination.
I love that.
Yeah, it takes time, patience, a willingness to experiment.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid to try different brands, different models, different sizes, until you find that shoe that truly feels like an extension of your foot.
Yes.
And remember, a good pair of climbing shoes is an investment in your climbing performance, your enjoyment.
Yeah.
So it's worth taking the time to get it right.
Absolutely. And to all of our listeners out there, whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, don't underestimate the importance of a well-fitting climbing shoe.
Couldn't agree more. Embrace the process, experiment, and find that shoe that unlocks your climbing potential. And if you have any questions, you need further guidance, reach out to us on social media. We are always happy to help.
Absolutely.
Until next time, keep climbing.
Keep climbing.